Yeah.
Okay, so I'm partially right. Dota is being made by a person called Dota 2 is being made by a person called Ice Frog, who was one of the original creators of the Dota game. So he got hired by Valve.
Hi guys,
That was weird.
I'm back.
Hello and welcome to the Black Mind Podcast.
Oh, we're on?
Oh, we're on. Welcome to the first Black Mind Gaming podcast.
So professional.
We're on.
Oh, it's for real. Okay, then.
We're doing this?
Yeah. Well, today we'll be looking at for first off, we'll bullshit, then Wolfenstein, then an indie game called Agar, and then my crash course in Unreal and then my thoughts on it comparing to Unity. As
Yeah.
I've been using Unity for 2 years.
And hating it.
I wouldn't say hating it. Unity can be interesting. It's some ways it is better than Unreal in some ways.
Yeah. Well, yeah. This is episode 1, recorded on the 17th of May. Yeah. So I guess we should introduce ourselves.
No. Well, I guess so. I'm Samuel LaRock. I am primarily a 3D modeler, but I also dabble in level and game design.
My name is Jeff Rock. I am currently a game designer, 3D modeler, audio engineer, and sometimes an animator in other streams.
Jeez, just show off, won't you?
Yeah.
I'm Joshua Meeks. I do 3D modeling, a lot of art assets, a lot of drawing and doodling of things, and the crazy guy of the bunch, maybe?
Yeah, I've been trying to understand his Skype comments for the past hour, and it's like he's having a secret conversation with somebody else. It's mildly creepy.
First of all, you need to read my mind. And then second, read my mind.
Yes, read Josh's mind.
Read his mind twice. Okay. Yeah, good.
Just know what I'm thinking at all times. It'd be fine.
Something's wrong with that statement.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah.
So what have you two guys been up to for this since we stopped going to Nate?
I've literally been working at my job and making a video game with a friend. Not talking about that right now, but I've also been playing a lot of video games lately.
Huh.
Like Wolfenstein, some Bloodborne, and yeah, like Puyo Puyo Tetris, and yeah, games like that.
Yes, just so everybody's gonna be clear, Jeff has a very strange obsession with Tetris.
It's the perfect game.
It is the perfect game.
It is. It's like if Formula One wasn't just run by complete and total bullshit.
Josh, what have you been up to for the past 2 weeks? Just nothing but more Tetris. More Tetris.
I don't know. Tetris is pretty hot. It's super hot. As for the past couple of weeks, all I've really been doing is trying to find decent part-time job or full-time job somewhere. And kind of, I don't know, talking to people from Nate and see what they've been doing and see if they want to collab with something. And yeah, so far I've just kind of trying to keep communications with everyone.
That's tough. I've been trying to keep communications with some people, and they are very difficult to get online. You know who you are.
It'd be creepy. Okay. Should
Well, there's me. I've been not playing a lot of video games. I got a new job working for a paint company, and that's been a physical challenge for me, as I was literally static for 8 months. So that was fun, and now I'm doing a crash. I'm been basically doing a crash course in Unreal, trying to get onto a project that uses Unreal, where I'm primarily a Unity person. So it's been interesting.
Is this like is Unity and Unreal kind of like how Maya and Max are handled?
Yes,
So-
that is a good way to put it.
Okay, so it's like total shit followed by greatness, and whereas 3ds Max was kind of like greatness. I'll leave it to the user to decide which one is which. Because, in my opinion, Unity is sometimes really hamstrung, and Unreal just kind of seems like it would be better. But
There are clear advantages with either one.
all right,
I'll leave it at for now.
all right. So yeah.
I want to dig around with with Unreal.
It's free.
I haven't done it because I was lazy.
It's fucking tough to get into, to be perfectly blunt. Like, I would highly recommend doing the tutorial series. They did a tutorial series on YouTube, and do that. Like, if you don't do that, there's not enough similarity with Unity.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And from the little video you showed of what you're doing, it kind of looks similar, but maybe I guess not then.
It is and it isn't. Like, some things are very similar. You know, placing down props and putting down materials. But then when you get past that, some things it's completely different in other aspects.
Okay. I guess it's both. You could say it's comparing oranges with oranges and blood oranges. That's exactly it. Comparing this orange with a blood orange.
A blood orange.
Okay.
Mm.
I literally have no idea what you're talking about now.
Oh, it's a type of fruit.
I tell you, read my mind.
Yes, Sam, I don't know what your problem is. I read Josh's fine perfectly fine.
You guys both suck.
Well, yeah.
Right. So on to Wolfenstein. Jeff, you seem to have a hard on for the game lately. So what's your thoughts on it so far?
Hard on? No. I just really like it.
Oh.
I like shooting them in the face, if that matters.
Yeah, that's probably what it would be.
Yeah, it's I would say perfect, but it's far from it. There are a few issues with the game. But the story and characters are probably some of the best. You guys wouldn't mind if I spoil it, would you?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
Go right ahead.
But just so anybody listening, spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Oh God, spoilers! Oh God.
Oh God, my sides! It's spoilers. So like the whole entire like main quest of the game is going after this general Death's Head, and like you meet a bunch of characters along the way and stuff like that. And the way that that game ends, it outright ends with you stabbing Death's Head in the chest multiple times, and him just holding up a grenade and blowing himself up.
It's not really much of a spoiler. You kill the boss at the end. Okay.
But the thing that really kind of interested me is like the whole entire time you're going with this girl named Anya. She got captured. They put your comrade, who you can either choose between a guy called Fergus or the private Watson. I went with Private Watson because Jimi Hendrix, and you have to face him in a robot. That's pretty interesting. But the game actually, like, the way the game ends is actually probably one of the best ways they ended that game. It ends with your character dying from the grenade explosion.
Cough, cough.
Yes. And, yeah, it just ends in such a perfect way, where I feel as if many games kind of just drop the ball.
So there is the ultimate question. What is your thoughts on BJ?
You know what? He's kind of a douche. He's an idiot and a meathead, but he serves that role perfectly. he's not like a very strong character compared to some of the other characters in the game.
Well, he's like Master Chief.
Well, I would argue that Master Chief is a lot easier to put yourself onto. Master Chief is very similar to like how Commander Shepard was in the Mass Effect series in some ways. He's not really a character.
Blank canvas.
Yeah, but he's just kind of like, hey, you can kind of do whatever you want. Whereas with BJ and stuff like that, he is a character. He is a straight up white American soldier who fought in the war. And his character moments are actually, when they do it, they hit it right, but they didn't hit it hard enough, I feel. Because there are some things that happen in that game which don't really show what he is, and they didn't explain him well enough. That's what I feel.
Okay. I played maybe the first 4 hours of the game before I got distracted. Most likely with school. I should forget what I got distracted with. So I kind of know what you're saying. Like I heard him talk, and every time he talked, I was just like, I don't care what you're saying. Shut up, BJ. Everybody else is more interesting.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's at least more character in BJ than it is with like Master Chief. I mean, there's more of a character there, you would say.
Yeah.
But the whole point of Master Chief was to be a canvas, though. He's almost like Gordon Freeman. Again, he's a canvas. He's not a character.
And then
Yeah.
they fucked it up with 4, and royally so.
Then they fucked it up with with Half-Life 3 and giving him a voice, and he's totally nerdy. Like,
I have to look this up now.
Nerdy Gordon Freeman.
yeah, it's totally real, and I totally didn't make it up on the top of my head.
He's just like sitting there pushing up his glasses. And you see, everyone, how the glasses go up and stuff like that. You see, there's a rupture in reactor core technology, and
You guys are gonna have to go to hell now for making fun of our Lord and Savior, Gordon Freeman. Like, I'm just sorry. There's no excuse for that.
Well, it's okay. Gordon's.
I ho, off to hell I go.
Exactly.
I was already going to hell for making fun of so many feminazis.
Let's try and avoid too much politics, but I know exactly what you're saying.
It's so hard dealing with them sometimes, especially at work, because you're like, I know what your problem is, but if I tried to explain it to you, you would probably look at me and go racist.
Well, the problem isn't necessarily that they're feminazis. This is an easy way to put the title on them. But the ultimate problem is a good portion of the population of people are just assholes, and they link on to a specific following.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for that following, it'd be another following.
Oh yeah, it's especially bad. Like, it's especially bad nowadays because it's like the economy sucks and everything's going to shit and police are shooting people and oh my god.
This is mainly in the States though. In Canada, that's fairly real. It's nowhere near as bad.
Oh, in Canada, it's
Like, Canada's
close.
doing pretty well.
Yeah, like there was some issues in Toronto, but they got body cameras just recently.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a Reddit thread that said Canada gets body cameras, and a lot of people were like, Toronto isn't all of Canada.
Yeah.
It's like,
I wish people wish it was.
to be fair, it is what was it 1/7 of our population.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
That's great.
There's 5 million in Toronto and 35 million, or more like 36 million in all of Canada. Thanks, guys.
Well, here's the thing that really makes me mad is like you look at the Toronto Maple Leafs, and like, my God, like this is just a tangent. I'm just gonna probably end up editing this out actually. But like, look at the Toronto Maple Leafs and stuff like that, and like their team sucks, and it's just royally bad.
All right, guys. Let's get. I just realized we got totally off topic. Let's get back to games.
Okay.
Video games.
Video games.
Video games, not hockey games. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not hockey.
I'm gonna buy the next NHL, and I'm just gonna start playing that just so we can talk about hockey for an episode.
I mean, I'm a Canadian. I kind of care, but I don't. I mean, a very good definition of what my feelings are towards hockey as a gamer for me, anyways.
Oh, I have to watch it.
Watching the hockey game is one thing. Playing hockey is very much like playing a video game of hockey is very much another.
Yeah. But anyway, topics. Games.
Yes, the game that you introduced us to this week earlier, Agar. That's very interesting things going on there.
It's super interesting, and the only reason I've actually came across Agar was actually watching a live stream of it from Vinesauce. I kind of recently got hooked into Vinesauce because he often does a lot of video game glitch videos and stuff like that. Like he will play a special ROM hack of certain games, and he'll play just the regular game of, let's say, Super Mario World, and he will make it go through a emulator that will actually screw up the game on purpose. So like it will have dust on the cartridge or whatever, and he will just go through it slowly and see what sort of ROM ROM corruptions and stuff like that would happen with the game. Yeah, so that's Vinesauce. And from him, I learned of Agar, and I just can't stop playing it because it has a lot of strategy and nuance to it, and it's super interesting.
Strategy and nuance.
There's tons of strategy. It's depending on what mode you play. Oh, there's another mode they updated with.
I only see FFA and teams.
There's team battle, and also there's free for all.
Yeah.
And actually, I'm not gonna lie. I've been playing this game the entire podcast, and I am number 1 on this damn server right now.
Which one are you on? West?
Yeah.
You
Team or
terrible,
FFA?
I'm doing FFA right now.
you terrible person.
So will you only be number 1 as long as you keep playing, or the moment you log out, you lose?
Yeah, pretty much. As soon as I log out, I don't have the number 1 position again. I have to crawl up the ladder again.
Okay.
So basically, describing the game. So the game is that you are a cell, like a little amoeba type of thing, and you're just a little ball. And you go collect other colored balls. So there's ones that are tinier than you. There's a lot of them, and that's how you more or less get your, you could say, get your ball size up. And so at first you start collecting those, and you start realizing, oh wait, there's other players around you, because you first have to log in with any name you want. So there's other players around you doing the same thing, but the thing is, you can also absorb those smaller players. So you it's a game of, oh, I hope he doesn't absorb me to, or if I can get close enough to this other guy so I can absorb him, and then maybe I can absorb the second guy and stuff like that. But there is 2 other methods of controlling your giant ball. One is you hit the spacebar, and you can divide your cell by 2. So that shoots out 1 ball and makes another, and yeah, it divides your ball evenly. The strategy for that is that it actually shoots out very far. It can actually eat a lot of people faster that way. And another,
How do you reconnect them once you divide them?
they slowly join over time. So that's the catch of using spacebar, is that you have to be careful when you use it, because someone else will be like, oh, I noticed you went divided by half, so I'm going to go and eat you up right now so you don't have time to assemble.
So when you say eat me in this game, you can mean it literally.
Oh yeah. Another strategy in this game is there's a whole bunch of these very pointy green balls all over the place, and they're viruses. And if you're lucky enough, you can shoot a little bit parts of yourself towards these green virus balls if you're hitting the W, and that will shoot a little parts of yourself into the virus balls, and you will make another virus ball appear. And if you can time it just right, you can actually shoot it into your opponents, and they will actually divide by 10.
Okay, I see. So you can't actually absorb the virus balls.
Yeah, you can't absorb them. If you do, you divide by 10, and you're like, oh, that's what they do. And you're like, oh, and I'm dead. Yeah, and basically it's just more or less see how far you can survive without being screwed over.
Yeah, and people with weird names.
Like right now, Nazi is trying to do his best to not get eaten, but I am gonna get him.
Well, one thing to keep in mind for splitting up into multiple parts is you also can collect more of the freebie food as well
Yeah.
when
Oh,
you do that.
Yeah. Sometimes that also helps too. I find a strategy is to, let's say if you're about to be eaten by bigger orbs and you're like, oh no, I need to escape right now, you just keep hitting spacebar over and over, and you keep dividing by half and half and half and half. You get smaller and smaller and smaller, but you get faster and faster and faster. So you
Okay.
so you run out of the scene and be like, oh, I'm still alive, but I'm so small. You have to go back up the ladder again.
Why do some people have no names?
I think it's because they're like, oh, whatever, I'm just gonna hit enter and play this dumb game for a second. And I think people are, I don't know, it just seems like people choose a name whatever they want to, because a lot of names are like either memes or just straight up swears or just using emoticons.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. Like I played it a little bit when you showed me it, and I didn't really understand a lot of it because I didn't put enough time into it, frankly.
Yeah, so another background to this game is it's made by one guy, and I'm not exactly sure where he's from or if he did any schooling or anything, but apparently I think this is his like one and only project for now, and it's really popular for him. So far he's done updates to it for like whenever you type in a custom name, sometimes it'll show up as an image on the circle.
Yeah.
So if you type in ISIS, you get something that looks similar to the ISIS logo.
Yeah, I saw somebody who was playing as Canada, and they had the meme for a Canadian flag. It wasn't the Canadian flag; it was the world comic version of the Canadian flag.
Yeah, it's not. It's like it's basically just drawings this guy made in MS Paint.
Yeah.
like just straight up like just not very good artwork, but it's really comical. You go, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's even a whole bunch of other ones like Ukraine has one, just two different colors, and there's Hitler with a little mustache.
Yeah. I saw that, and yeah, the time I played as your mom, and I got eaten by a lolly.
Yeah. There's this is basically he's slowly updating the game over time, and yeah, it seems like when about a week passed, you can see there's like a slight update and be like, oh, I see how differently it plays now.
Okay.
Yeah, it even got a greenlit past in 15 minutes on Steam right now.
Oh, but it's a web game. Why would you want it on Steam?
I think he just threw it on there just to see how see if it would just get any traction at all, and seeing how fast it got accepted, he's probably like, oh, this could be a thing.
Well, the thing with Greenlight is I was talking to some devs who've tried to get on it, and what they found is the number required is not based on purely on a set amount entirely. It can also be if it gets up fast enough. So if somebody who gets on and immediately gets 100,000 within like a week, then they're almost guaranteed to get past it. But if you get 100,000 over a period of a year, it could not work. Like there's some weirdness going on in the background that nobody's quite sure how it works.
Greenlight to me seems like a really weird system. It just seems like that community in some ways. Like the way that system kind of works just doesn't fit.
Well, a lot of the journalist community believes that it should be dismantled, and Steam has stated that they are planning on dismantling it at some point.
Yeah.
I think Gabe Newell even came out and said
it's a failure.
That it wasn't great.
Yeah, it's better. Let me put it like this: it's better than what Steam is doing now, where they're kind of just open up the floodgates. Oh my god.
Well, I don't have a problem with them opening up the floodgates. What they need to do is that they need to split it up into different sections. Where I only want to look at games that costed over 50 million to make, as an example. And if it doesn't cost this amount, I've got no interest in it.
I would say, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right about that. In some ways, like the amount of shuffleware though that ends up on Steam just is kind of offensive.
Okay, 2 years ago, I had about 450 games, and I had bought them over the course of about 3 years.
Yeah.
In the past 2 years, I've decreased the amount of games I've bought to 50 simply because I can't be bothered to look through all the garbage.
Oh yeah.
Like, there's a lot of great games on Steam, but when 90% of it is complete garbage, I don't want to. I can't deal with it after a while. It's too much.
Oh yeah.
It gets to a point of you can't play everything, so just wait for the game that you heard from someone else is good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like back in 2010, I basically played every major PC release. I bought it and played it, and since then, since like about 2011, I just stopped playing a lot of them because it just massive flood of games that I couldn't keep up anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the hard part, right? With gaming in general right now.
Yeah, it's almost too much. So it's kind of ironic that we're getting into it, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. Hold
It'll
on, guys. I gotta go for a brief few seconds.
All right, break.
All right.
Yay! Okay.
What were we talking about?
Dota and WoW.
So we're now talking about Dota.
Well, we finished talking about Dota.
Oh.
That's what happens when you leave.
Yes. Everything breaks.
So how long do you want this podcast to last about?
Forever.
Well, we're at 26 minutes right now. We could do another 5 minutes, maybe.
All right then. I will do a comparison of Unreal versus Unity. So, when looking at the two, the biggest difference I really see is that Unity has its interface is much more friendly. Somebody's making noise.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Its interface is a lot more friendly. Like if you want to create drop-down menus or not drop-down menus, like if you want to organize something, it feels easier to do. Like Unreal can do it, but it's a lot more difficult. And another issue is that with Unreal comes with everything pre-made, but you're kind of limited in that sense because to get add-ons that do different things is far more difficult. Whereas with Unity and the Unity store, if you don't like one form of add-on that allows you to create meshes within Unity, you can just get a new one. Where with Unreal, you're stuck with Unreal.
That sounds like it would be terrible.
Well, yeah, it's just that's it feels like a really petty complaint, to be honest.
Wow. Yeah. It's kind of like I don't want to sound like again like it kind of sounds like everything like they're two different systems made by two different companies, right?
Yeah.
So that would make sense that they're two very different products.
They're not that different though. Like this real strength of the Unreal Engine is two things over Unity. If I had to pick two things, the first one would be the blueprint system is far stronger than what is it called in Unity when you create something and it's and you can put like all different stuff in it and create a
Scene?
no, not a scene, a single object or multiple objects that you combine together.
Group.
It's not called a group. I know what it's called.
Prefab.
Prefab, thank you. Yeah. The blueprint system is far more powerful than prefabs. Like, there's no comparison. It's like comparing somebody's drawing of an orange to an actual orange. If that makes sense.
Mm.
Like you can with the prefab system, you can go into that prefab, and you can add code. You can add different effects, and everything that's prefab with it gets updated. Where with Unity, doing that is far more difficult.
Yeah.
And the lighting in Unreal is also just put it out there because Unity's lighting, well updated, is still not great.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Anyways, closing up on Unreal. Ultimately, if you have a large team, Unreal's the way to go. if it's 2-3 guys, stick with Unity.
All right.
That's what I would say, because Unreal is great, but it's also more difficult to work with.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's just my ultimate thoughts. And I'm not going to talk about the CryEngine because I've never used it, but what I have heard is that the documentation is utter garbage.
All right.
So, closing up on the podcast.
Yep. So this has been episode 1 of the Black Mind podcast. We will probably be doing these every week, and we'll probably even, we might even do some questions and stuff like that in coming ones. But yeah. Okay. So this has been episode 1. Have a good night, everyone.
Right.
Yay.
Okay, I'm gonna get called again, guys. So I have to go. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna take up the headset now.
Alright then, I guess
It's still recording.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
What? No, Mom!
I really want to look up that video of the one guy who was in a V for Vendetta mask, like who's part of Anonymous.
Want to make a video and stuff like that, and
Yeah, it was this fat guy, and he was making a video, and like his mom, he looks super serious with the Anonymous mask, and his mom comes in, turns on the light, and talks, and we just see the desperate frustration on his face.
oh, that's good.